We're talking actors and directors who put on the shows.
We're talking playwrights and designers who you'll want to know.
From the very first rehearsal to the final curtain call.
We might be off Broadway, but we're talking about it all.
'Cause we're two local gals
with global pals. It's everything, everything, everything theater.
with Benita
And Ellen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast, the podcast where we talk about
Everything theater. We make it really simple. Hi, everybody. I'm Benita Zahn.
And I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And we're going down to New York City for today's taping. Well, sort of.
Virtually.
Yeah. And joining us is Gaston Leguizamon. He is a playwright and an actor at the VoxArt Lab Productions. And you've got a new play out that's opening like immediately, December 11th, In the Same World. Tell us a little bit about it.
In the Same World is a 20-minute short play about two brothers and a confrontation they have when one of them decides to join a self-deportation program. This is layered with old wounds from these two brothers in their family, tied to privilege, the concept of belonging, and this is part of the celebration of immigration block at the International Human Rights Art Festival.
Was this written before all the stuff that's going on now, or was the news headlines, did that prompt you to craft this?
I was born and raised in Argentina, spent 8 years in Los Angeles before I came to New York. While in LA, I met a lot of people that inspired a lot of the experiences that these two characters go through. This feeling of, because one of the brothers was born in Mexico, the other brother was born in the US. And that dynamic, what it looks like, how they feel, what they grow up with. And when everything started happening this year, and I found out about this program that starts and it's out there, this just came towards. It's part of a larger project now, because this is just a short play. I had time to develop what I could develop for the festival, which was a short material, a 20-minute limit. But it's growing. It's already outlined for a full length in the future. So, yeah, huge inspiration.
So is it the two brothers, or are there more people in the cast?
It's always going to be two brothers. It's going to be a two-hander. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot to unleash and reveal from just these two brothers and everything that dynamic. I love a good family drama. I feel like there's so many layers. In this case, a social issue that's happening that we're all witnessing, we're all a part of, that is also layered, but that old relationships that we carry throughout all our lives, which is our family.
Now, I'm unfamiliar with the International Human Rights Art Festival. Tell us a little bit more about that and their mission and how it all came to be.
They've been around the city for 7 years now. This is the seventh festival, and it's a week of different disciplines. There's dancing, there's poetry, there's theater, there's film. In fact, there's going to be a documentary that's going to be made out of the festival that I'm also going to be taking part in with the process and BTS of the play. And each day of the festival is a different thing to celebrate. I think there's LGBTQ Day, there's climate change, and then we are in the immigration block.
What does it mean for you to have been selected to be part of the International Human Rights Festival?
Feels like an honor and a responsibility because of such social impact that it has. It's meant, not only to entertain, but also to call for action. That's one of the main goals. The missions have audiences involved. so it feels really great, really grand in that sense, because there's so much to be said and felt in these times. And as artists, whatever we do, either writing, acting, producing, or all of the above, I feel like that's the way in which we can contribute to what's going on, to the narrative.
And Benita and I have talked about the huge impact theater can have and how it works really great when it's upstream and downstream. You present something, but then you also get the audience reaction, feedback, conversation going. So with the festival or with your specific play, is there any kind of interaction with the audience to continue the conversation after the play is over?
There is a little bit of that. There's also like a opening night in which everyone from all the different blocks are invited. It's the first day, and you have time to come and talk to different audiences and the other production companies. And then it's also in my interest and with VoxArt Lab, my production company, to continue this path, because when I finished the first draft of this play, I felt like we were onto something. Like it was the time to tell this story, even though if you ask me particularly, I didn't experience any of what they're going through. But I feel like as a sponge, I sort of absorbed everything that a lot of people around me, very close to me in LA, were going through related to these dynamics. So I'm really interested in bringing them to light, to be the voice for them.
Here's a bit of some are arguing that, if you're in the arts, stay on your side and don't engage in the political. We hear that. To them, you would say what, Gaston?
To them, I would say that I get that. We're telling a story of two brothers that anybody, regardless of what your opinion on anything could be, you can relate to. Because in the end, it's about the love, it's about the feelings that you go through, and we all have family, right? We're here. I feel like we can all relate to these stories. And also, I feel like sometimes if we just sit down and listen, we can learn a lot if we want to.
So well said.
Mm-hmm. How is it as a independent theater in New York City? I mean, it's such a hubbub place there's theaters all over, huge, large, tiny. What's your experience of living in the city and working with this independent company?
It is a lot, New York City is a crazy city, but so at the same time, I feel like you really need to be in touch with your voice and yes, right, as you were talking about mainstream or smaller theater, independent theater, and how we make them sort of blend in, because the only way that you're gonna come across that your voice is gonna be heard is if it's really your voice, if you're not trying to copy anyone or try to do what's cool, what's trending. And I feel like connecting with your voice first is the first lesson of this first year with VoxArt Lab. This is our third production that we're doing, and the more you learn that when you lean into your own voice, it's that's where it is, because that's your art.
How do you manage? Give us a sense of how you manage time as an actor and time as a playwright.
Yes, so it's very different processes for me, actually. It's become very clear when once I came into the city, I came to do a 2-year acting program at the Esper Studio, which was very intense. And during those 2 years, I focused on the acting technique and the acting technique only. And once I graduated, I went back to old drafts that I had, including the Neighborhood Laundromat, which is a full length that we did in July, The Last Visit, which we did in August, and now In the Same World. And that was a separate part of the artist in you. So I just make sure that I spend enough time with the production time, with the pre-production, so that then Agustina, my co-producer, can take over during the rehearsal time moments, which is right now. Um, because one is very heady, the playwright, and then the producer, which is very practical, and then as an actor, you're working with your instrument. So yeah, it's a challenge, but it's fun.
Now, I should clarify, are you in this production of your play?
I am one of the performers, actually. Yes.
You are. Okay. So what is that experience like, it being your words, your vision, and now you're on stage, but with an actor who's not the playwright?
I actually enjoy wearing the many hats. I feel like those are my three strong points in the theater process. Um, so I just make sure that, as I said, I plan ahead and then just delve right into the text when it's time to act. And also now being the third production in the company, we already know how to navigate through that so that there's no like bleeding into all the departments. Yes.
When do you anticipate this being a full-length show?
Next year for sure, pretty much after the summer. Um, yes, yes. So there needs there has so there's some work to be done.
But you have a draft already?
I mean, it's outlined. It's outlined, and the rehearsal process is informing a lot of what that's going to be looking like. We're processing all of this through our bodies with me, and the other actor, and so yeah, fall winter of 2026 sounds like a
And will
yeah,
you
like a
do it at
potential good time.
VoxArt Labs? You'll do it through.
We will do it. Yeah, we'll do it through us. Like so far, we've been very lucky to have been selected in three different festivals in New York City: the New York Theater Festival, the Gene Frankel Theater Festival, and now the International Human Rights. Um, but of course, the goal is to be able to do the production ourselves and do a longer run. Yes.
You have a home. The VoxArt Lab has a home. It's got, an address.
Oh yeah. It's New York City. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're in a facility. It's not, catch
Yeah,
as
yeah,
catch
yeah. That's
can.
right.
You're right. You've got a
Yes.
steady home. But I asked because there's a local theater company, and Troy Foundry Theater, and you don't. It's spin the wheel. You're never sure from production to production where they're going to be. The core of them is the same, but they choose different venues. That's why I wondered.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's exciting. You're at the tank. Is that it?
Yes, we're gonna be at the tank. That's where the festival takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So the tank and the chain, they're this emerging theater facilities, very popular in New York City right now. And yeah, this festival is the seventh year that is happening right there at the tank.
I should point out that's on West 36th Street.
That's West 36th Street. Yes.
Yes, so pretty central.
Yeah, super central. Yes. A
Yeah,
lot of young artists in the off Broadway. Yes.
yeah. We contend that we're off Broadway.
Yeah. Yes.
We did our promo, our open stuff standing on Broadway in
Right.
Albany. So, it's all perspective, right? And perception.
Yes, definitely.
When you take this on into a full length, do you anticipate seeing it as two acts or a 90-minute, no break?
Hmm.
And then I have a follow-up, but go ahead.
Yeah, I tend to write in the three act form, with no intermission, 90 minutes, so 30 minutes per act. So that's actually how it's outlined at the moment.
Yeah, everybody's moving away from intermissions. Are we afraid that we're going to lose the audience?
I guess I don't know.
You can't sell as much soda. Do you see yourself continuing with the production, as a performer? Or as it grows, do you see yourself stepping back?
I am open to. So listen, before I moved to the US, to Los Angeles, I grew up in Buenos Aires, Argentina, which is a very like big theater city as well. And I would write my own plays as well. And I would also direct them. So I used to wear even more hats. But, growing up, I learned what I was leaning towards more and what I wasn't so much. So directing is not one of those things. And I feel like at this point, I'm very comfortable with either producing, writing, or acting. It could be all those three. It could not be. So I'm open to however the process with this project goes.
I feel like Benita and I both direct and act, and there's that thing where you have your director hat on, but then you are an actor. So when you're directing, you kind of like, all right, I can see if I was up there, like how I'd be doing this, and vice versa. If you're acting, you're like, I can see what the director might be going for. So as a playwright of your own, are you like ever mid-sentence where all of a sudden you think, I should rewrite that line? Or like, do things pop out to you that surprise you as an actor when you're doing your own work?
So as it being the third production that we're doing this year that I write, I've learned to stop myself from doing that unless the director brings it in.
Mm.
And it's funny because as you were saying that it happens in rehearsal now with Vico and our director, that we're mid rehearsal and we're like, can we bring playwright Gaston for a minute? And I go, okay, hi guys. It's like this, like, I mean, I'm sure you understand what that feels like. And then we will talk about a specific thing before, because you don't want to really contaminate your acting process with heady things from, playwright or
But you
directing.
don't paraphrase.
So
You get it right, correct?
yeah,
No paraphrase.
yes. Fortunately for me, I'm good at memorizing lines. I know that's a thing. You either have that or not. I'm very lucky. But yeah, I'm not very picky if it's not exactly. Yeah.
I always love when somebody says, how do you learn those lines? Don't ask me. It's its own kind of magic. I'm not going to, I don't want to get into it. True?
Yes, exactly.
Everybody
Same
has
thing.
their little tricks that help. But
Yes.
overall, I call it magic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Is there,
definitely. Yeah.
is there a role out there you want to do that you didn't write?
That I didn't write.
Yeah, something that you haven't penned. Is there a role that you want to play?
Yeah, actually, one of my goals is writing a. So when I was 18 years old, I wrote a musical. It was called El Capitan, and it played in the off Buenos Aires circuit. And the musical theater is something that I was into in my late teenage years, and then I sort of let go of to concentrate on straight theater. But it is one of my goals to write a musical around tango, with tango music, from Argentina. Um, so I think that particular role is something that I would like to play eventually. I would have to be a little older for that. I have it very clear what I want it to be and look like. So yeah, probably that.
Because what is it? Tango was a few years ago, but there was no dialogue. It was music and dance.
Yeah, I would love to use the classic tango songs from Argentina and turn them into a musical to tell like a sort of universal story uh, set in Argentina, uh, in the suburbs, which is where I'm from. So, yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Lovely. I say we have a few minutes left, Benita. Should we do a
Yes.
yeah, I say we haven't done one of these in a while.
No.
Guess, and a lot of times we finish our episodes with what we call the close-up, and it's just some rapid fire questions all about you. So are you ready for your close-up?
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
What is the moment in your life where you just knew I have to do theater?
I was 4 years old and we were doing this performance in kindergarten, and I remember that.
What was the performance?
I was playing a guy on the beach. I was shirtless with a little beach ball and sunglasses. And I had long hair. I had long hair when I was 4.
What was your family's reaction when you said, "This is what I'm gonna go do with my life"?
It was mixed reactions. One side was supportive, one side was like, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still, yeah, they support today. Yes.
If you weren't in the theater field, what would you be doing?
So many things, which I think in my personal case is why I like acting, because of the possibility of exploring so many different things in life. I don't think I'd be set into doing one thing. I think I'd pursue more than one career.
What play has had the biggest impact in your life? Either something that you've seen or something that you've worked on, and why?
The biggest impact, I think, is Dracula the musical. There's an Argentinian version of that. Um, and I think because of the love story, the heartbreak, uh, yeah, that was the first one that comes to mind.
When did you see that or work? Oh, did you work on it or did you see it?
I saw it and worked on it. It was in 2008. I was playing Dracula.
Oh, wow. I know you'd mentioned that like you would love to do something with tango, but are there any other topics out there that you would love to delve into as a playwright?
I'm really interested in writing about like regular people because I think finding a way to turn those stories, those regular stories, into superheroes, because I feel like in a way with a certain perspective they are. Um, and I would like to bring a lot of stories from Argentina to the mainstream because I feel like everything that's reached the markets is part of what Argentina is, but there's a lot more that I feel like it's interesting and could connect with people. And that's one of my goals.
Well, we're going to keep our eyes out for you and your upcoming work and the longer version of your show in the same world, December 11th over at the Tank, which is at 36th Street in the Big Apple. And grab a ticket, go on down, make a day trip, and then stick around and give Gaston, props for the great work that he's done. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
spending
Thank you
time
so
with
much.
us.
Yes,
Yes.
of course. Thank you so much, guys.
And lovely talking to you, and keep us posted on what else is going on with your play and with the International Human Rights Arts Festival in general. We'd love to know more about it. For our listeners, thank you so much. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And I'm Benita Zahn. Be well.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everything Theater podcast. Special thanks goes out to Alice Grinling for our photography and Justin Friello for composing our amazing theme song. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to share your thoughts or what's going on in your theater community, you can reach out to us on social media or through our email at everythingtheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, it's everything, everything, everything.